see you. If not, if you are joining us by phone, that's perfectly okay too. Um, Excellent. Oh, thank you, Marla, for recording this for us. My name is Katie, and I'm Associate Director of Admissions here for our MBA programs in College Station. I'll let the rest of my colleagues on the call introduce themselves as well.
I can go. My name is Marla Collins. I serve as the Assistant Director for our full-time MBA program. I'm excited to see lots of familiar names and faces here today. We know some of y'all might be on internship, but if you're able to share your face with us, we would love to see it and connect it to your name. We will be on our cameras as well. I will also introduce Haley Welch. She is listening in to learn today from us as well. She's our program coordinator for a full-time MBA. So we're excited to be here.
And then I'll go. My name's Amanda Olson. I am the Senior Associate Director for our Career Management Center, and I work with the full-time MBA and the incoming engineering MBA students.
Howdy, everyone. My name is Lauren Ham. I'm the admissions officer here for our College Station MBA programs.
Excellent. Thank you all so much for joining us. A little bit of housekeeping today. I will be sending out the link to the recording. Amanda, are you comfortable sharing your slides that you've used? Yes, we will be sending out the slides and the link to the recording later on today. To make sure we get it to the right people, though, if you are joining us from your friend's computer, a work computer, anything like that, just look underneath yourself. I see somebody joining from an iPhone. That's perfectly fine. If you could, though, email us or message us in the chat with your full name so that we make sure that you get we get those emails directed to the right people. Any questions that you have throughout the presentation, not just about the video pitch, any questions about the application process, the application link, anything about the program itself, the course load, anything like that, feel free to put those questions in the chat, and we will be monitoring that and answering those as we go along. The topic today is tips for an outstanding video pitch. So the video pitch is step 2 of the 2-step application process. You'll fill out the priority application, attaching your resume and transcript, and you will also do your 2-minute video pitch. So the video pitch is a very important component. If we were just looking at resume and transcript, I know we could make decisions instantaneously. We would just get a computer to make the decisions for us and put an algorithm in it. But we want to see you as 3-dimensional people. So that's very important to us in terms of the collegiality of the cohort, the teamwork involved, all of those things. So we want to make sure that the people that we invite into the cohort have really great intentions to be in the cohort. They have great career goals, and they have some unique qualities that they'll be bringing with them into the cohort. So those are the things we'll be asking you to do in the video pitch. So not to make anyone nervous, you do get unlimited takes, but the video pitch is an important component. So you'll want to give it your best effort. And with that, I will turn it over to Amanda to tell you more.
Thank you, Katie. So as Katie mentioned, we'll share the slides, but I do want to share that I'm a slide light kind of person. So you're going to see some terminology on there, but we're really going to talk through it today and talk through what makes you stand out. Essentially, what we're asking for is tell me about yourself. If you were going into an interview for a company, we want to hear a little bit about that, except your interview is now the engineering MBA program. And so if you think about what that looks like and kind of how that should sound, we're going to talk through what makes you stand out in that today. We're going to start with the idea of the elevator pitch and what that looks like. How many of you are super familiar with an elevator pitch or the tell me about yourself? Just thumbs up if you're not online, or head nod, thumbs up. Okay. Now, we're going to get really niche for just a second. How many of you have seen or know about Princess Bride, the movie? Elizabeth, I see the head nod. I love it. A lot of head nods, lots of thumbs up. Okay, great. So we're going to start with the perfect elevator pitch. Let's go here. I'm going to share my screen. Remove my face so that
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
he is running to get the admissions team because that is a standout elevator pitch. So now we're going to jump right into the presentation itself. And I do want to be as interactive as possible. So if you can kind of speak up, feel free to do so. But I'll ask a little bit of Q&A throughout the process, and then we will go from there. Anyone want to tell me what Inigo did well?
He started with like a clear introduction of his name.
Clear introduction of his name. What else?
He exuded confidence.
He exuded confidence. Fantastic. Anything else? All right, I will tell you what he did well. That polite greeting, his name, who he was, right? That relevant personal link. Why? Tell me why am I here today? And then he managed expectations. Prepare to die, right? And so for you, it's prepare to admit me into this program. So let's talk a little bit about our overall expectations. And Katie and Lauren and Marla, correct me if any of this information has changed or is incorrect, but you'll have 2 minutes to give your pitch, your video pitch of why the engineering MBA. And so I want to break that down for you in terms of timing. This does not need to be exact because what we don't want is for it to be overly rehearsed. Okay. But if you're thinking about it in terms of how you're formatting this in your head, that quick introduction needs to be about 15 seconds of your video, right? Who are you? Where you're coming from. And then about 60 seconds, and we're going to go through this in depth, so no need to kind of overthink this part, but about 60 seconds of your career or educational highlights. These are going to be things that have made you stand out, internships that you've completed, research that you've done, lab work, any sort of co-op or things like that. And then 30 seconds of why the engineering MBA fits into your long-term career goals and how it's going to help you, that why of this particular program. And then an outro, something that's going to help us to remember you and help you to stand out, okay? So a few things to remember right off the bat. You want to be professionally dressed. Katie, help me to understand, do we prefer business professional or is business casual okay?
I would say for this, treat it as business professionally as possible because this is also their interview.
So understanding that not every undergrad student has a suit yet, you can definitely reach out and talk to one of us about what business professional looks like for you and what you have available to you. But business professional ultimately is a suit and tie. For the ladies, it's going to be a jacket or a blazer with a button-up shirt or a nice blouse. And then you can find that information on your career management website. As undergrads, there's a whole page dedicated to what professional dress looks like. Again, if you have questions about that, feel free to let us know, or if you need to level set expectations and what's available to you, please reach out to us as well. Be in a professional space to do this video. My area back here is entirely too cluttered. I am getting ready to welcome a bunch of new students on campus, so I have things all over the place, entirely too cluttered for an interview of this magnitude, right? So I would want to make sure that my space is clean and clear and that the focus is me and maybe not that big red book on my pile of books or the mess that I have back there on that table that's going to draw attention away, right? So be in a professional space, a clear space, a clean space, and then show enthusiasm. Sometimes we get in our heads a little bit about interviews, and that goes for admissions interviews, career interviews. Show that you're enthusiastic about this program. It's okay to have a word slip here or there, as long as you are showing that enthusiasm and not overly rehearsed. Because when we get to that place of, I've practiced 2 minutes of all of these words, I've written it down, I've memorized this, as much as you want to show that enthusiasm, that's not going to come across as clearly as if you were to work through this process, think about it, practice it. I'm not saying don't practice, but we don't want to be so overly rehearsed that we lose that enthusiasm. So show us why you're excited about this program. Okay? Make eye contact. You'll notice right now that it looks like I'm looking at you. It's because I am looking at my screen. I'm looking at the person in my screen. If I look directly at my camera, it can be a little off-putting, right? If you're looking at me right now, it might be a little weird. If I'm looking at myself, you can see that I'm looking at myself, right? I am looking right now at a gentleman named Nicholas because that's my audience. He happens to be in the middle of my screen. You want it to be as natural as possible. So think about what that eye contact would look like if that other person was receiving the video interview. Okay. Do your research. Understand what this program looks like. Ask questions. We have an amazing admissions team readily available to help. Marla has a ton of information that she is willing to share with you. I am open to have conversations about career pathing for this particular program. Show us that you've done that research, and then do research on companies or places that you want to end up after this program. But understand your why, and your why can't just be, I want to get the MBA on top of my engineering degree, or I want to make a lot of money. Because there are definitely different reasons to do this type of program. And we want to understand that you understand why you're doing this program and the commitment you're making for the next 12 months after you've already completed 4 years of really intensive education. So do your research. Okay? Understand that why. Think about it, reflect on it, have conversations with mentors, family, what I like to call your personal board of directors. So who are your stakeholders, right? Do you have a partner? Do you have a family member that you can lean on and trust to have these open conversations that really dive into your why and why this program is a good fit for you? Talk to those folks, talk to your career advisor over in the engineering school, talk to your academic advisor, talk to your stakeholders or your personal board of directors and get a good idea of your why so that you can clearly articulate that in this video. Okay. And then be authentic. We're gonna see that, believe it or not, authenticity shows up in videos way more than people would believe. We can see that. We can see when your body language is a little stiff and that is nervousness, or if it's being unauthentic, right? We don't expect you to be perfect in these videos, right? We do expect you to be authentic and honest about why you want to be here and your why and reasoning. So I gave a quick example, and I have to say thank you so much to the beautiful Marla for posing for these pictures. We did some what to do and what not to do's, and so I want to show you a good example of what your background should look like if you are doing your video, and I used Marla for this a little bit earlier today. There we go. What stands out in this picture? And you guys can just jump in and tell me what you see in this. Lauren, Katie, you tell me what you're seeing too, so that they understand what you guys are looking for.
I see a beautiful blank background where Marla is just popping out.
Mm-hmm. She's smiling and making eye contact with the camera.
She's very well put together.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair is done. It's not all over the place. We're going to show a what not to do in a little bit. Very limited jewelry, right? Nothing that is going to take away from the words that she's saying, because ultimately that's what we want. We don't want you to show up in, big purple and gold earrings or a gigantic, statement piece on your neck. We want to see who you are. That's not to say that authentically you isn't fashionable, but for this video, let's not detract from the purpose, which is for you to share with us who you are. All right. And so we do see that there's a little bit in that background. It's a nice clean picture in the background, but ultimately she is in a place where it is quiet. There's no distractions. We can see that in this picture. All right. So those were some things to remember. And then some things that you need to forget right away. Forget that messy and sloppy attire. Again, think about going into an interview for an internship or a job. You want to be just as put together as you would be for one of those for this particular video. That messy and sloppy background, like I have here, let's forget about that. Let's find a place that is nice and clean. Okay. The busy background too, just because it's clean doesn't mean that it's not too busy. So if you have a ton of artwork that could be distracting from you or what you're doing, or that artwork blends into what you're wearing, that could be a busy background. So try to be very aware of your surroundings in this particular video. That lack of enthusiasm, right? We understand that this is a big deal. We know that this is stressful, but we still want some of that enthusiasm to come along with it. Right? And then being distracted. I can tell instantly when somebody has something else going on, or if they're reading a script. I've had students before who are like, well, I put the script right there in front of my camera, so you can't tell that I'm not reading it. Yes, I can. I can see your eyes moving back and forth. I can see that you are distracted in some way. Make sure that you have conversations. If you have roommates, if you're still living on campus, you're doing these and you have roommates, let everybody know, hey, I am doing this. For 5 minutes, I need complete silence in the house, because you might want to do a retake of the video, right? So it's a 2-minute video, but let people know if you have roommates, if you are back at home for the summer, whatever the case may be, try to find a place where you can be distraction free. This includes pets. Katie, how many times have you seen cats walk across the video screen?
Quite a few. Cats, roommates, dogs. We have seen all sorts of things in the background.
Yeah. Lauren, Marla, what are some other distractions that we've seen that I might be missing here?
I'd say the biggest one is like when you don't necessarily see the person in the video that could be distracting you, like Katie's referencing to you, but we can tell that it's happening in the background, like on the other side of the camera, similar to what Amanda's sharing, where we can see your eyes reading a script. It's super clear if it takes away from like us learning about your personality, right? Or something. We can tell there's a break in what you're doing because there's something distracting happening on the other side.
I would also throw in there, sometimes we've seen some with like you can like hear like a busy road or something in the background. So just really focusing on a quiet space. If you do have roommates or you have a barking dog, at the library has a lot of good quiet study spaces as well to kind of avoid those distractions in the background.
And Lauren, thank you for bringing that up. Busy places that you just can't avoid. Maybe you are on campus. Maybe you can't help where you live. Maybe you live on a street that's ridiculously busy or they're doing construction. If you need to wear some sort of microphone that helps with that, you can do so. What we don't want to see though is the big like ear, Elizabeth, I'm going to call you out, but not in a negative way. Those types of headphones that are great to block out the noise. We don't want that in the video, but if you have the ones that go in your ear, we understand that that might be something that you're using to block out some of that sound. But sometimes it's just a matter of running down to Walmart and getting one of those $5 mics that go on your lapel, and that blocks out some of the additional noise that might be distracting in that particular video. And then being over rehearsed or over practiced, right? We want you to practice. We want you to understand and go through this and be aware of the things that you're saying way before you're saying them. What we don't want is to hear a script or a memorized version of what you think we want to hear, right? And we're going to go through the questions that are asked through Spark Hire, which is the platform we use to do these videos. And there is the opportunity to re-record. So don't get hung up on the idea of memorizing the script, but understand what you want to say and the things that you want to highlight. Think of it in a bullet format, right? If you want to highlight 3 internships and 3 big impactful things that you did in undergrad, then do that. I would rather you do that and kind of talk through that and go over time and have to re-record it than for you to overly rehearse and memorize something that's going to come across as unauthentic to us, right? So you have unlimited opportunities to re-record. So keep that in mind. So now let's talk about what it shouldn't look like if you were on screen. Marla, I love that you were such a good sport to this. And there's what you shouldn't do. You can see mom is in the background. Mom's coaching her on, right? You can see that. Sometimes you'll see that in the mirror or a reflection. Students, if you have glasses, I can see that reflection of what's going on in those glasses. And I have seen parents in the background of somebody's glasses, just the reflection. Yeah, if you can, right? If you see the glare in your glasses coming across in the video and you don't need to have your glasses on for the video, I'm not saying I don't want you to see, but sometimes that reflection can be a little distracting too. So think about what that looks like. But yeah, Marla's got a lot going on here. Now, I will say all of the things that are going on in this particular background are very much imperative to bringing students onto campus. And so we love what this office looks like. But for the video, Marla should have gone back to that other place and found a nice quiet spot to do her video. For her hair might be done, and it's okay to wear your hair like this day to day. When I see this and I think about some of the hairs pushed off to the side, I think that she isn't as prepared for this particular video as she needs to be, right? She's clearly looking at herself in this video. Her eyes are face down. They're looking at what she looks like. And we don't care what you look like in terms of whether or not you're in the right spot on the camera. We just want you to be there and in the moment, right? So you don't need to focus so much on looking at yourself in this particular video. The other thing too is we can see somebody in the background, right? And sometimes when our camera, mine does this a lot, my camera will focus in, but if I were to bring something up to it, it'll refocus. Now it's not going to do it. There it goes. It'll refocus. If somebody walks into the purview of your camera, sometimes you don't even realize it, but that camera is going to refocus and show that somebody walked into the room, or maybe that somebody is coaching you a little bit through this process. Be very aware of that as you're doing this video. And again, Marla, thanks for being a good sport and taking these pictures for us. So let's get prepared. Some of the questions, actually, are these all of the questions that are asked in Spark Hire? Thank you. These are the 3 questions that you will see in that Spark Hire video that you need to prepare for and to answer in that 2 minutes that you're given to talk about yourself. So why are you applying to the engineering MBA program? This goes back to doing that research and really understanding the why of the program and why it's going to be important to you. And then what are your post-MBA career goals? Again, understanding what that is, whether you connect with your current career advisor, do company research, thinking about that right now is important. It is not set in stone. If you tell me I want to go into management consulting, that's why I'm adding the MBA to my engineering degree, then you get on campus and you realize that Exxon is hiring amazing leadership development program candidates, and that's where you want to go. I'm not going to say, oh, back in your admissions file, you said this, right? But understand what it is right now and understand that we expect you to explore and we're okay with that exploration, but have an understanding of what those post-MBA career goals look like. And then what unique qualities, skills, or experiences will you bring to your cohort? What's going to make you a good teammate? What's going to make you a good partner to your MBA students and cohort? So what are some things that you've done that you can highlight throughout the last 3, 4, or sometimes 2 years of education, depending on how early you're applying, that are going to make you stand out? And so think about those things. Again, Katie's going to send this out. We'll have the deck sent out as well. So you can start thinking about those things and how to answer those questions well in advance. And so I wanted to very deliberately keep this particular part of today's conversation short so that we can really talk questions, but I will ask Katie to go over the timeline really quickly, and then I'll open it up to questions about how or why or what you should be doing throughout the video process.
Yes, so the priority applications, the application that's on the Qualtrics form and the video pitch are due July 15th. If you apply by July 15th, that gets you 3 benefits. You get an application fee waiver. So you apply for $0. You get priority consideration for, right now we have 0 seats filled. This is you would be one of the very first ones to apply. So you get priority application to take one of those admission seats and priority application for scholarships. We have a full scholarship pot as well. So applying priority allows you first dibs on seats and scholarships. And then the third advantage to applying priority is that decision deadline. You get a decision on August 1st. In case you're out on a summer internship right now, you're anticipating a full-time offer from them, wouldn't it be great to be able to make this is a big decision. Are you staying in school another year? Are you accepting a full-time offer? Will your employer put your offer on hold for a year? Join our webinar on July 22nd, and Amanda will tell you how to have that conversation with them. It's a big decision though. So isn't it going to be best to make that decision with as much information as possible? Applying priority will allow you to do that. We will get you a decision by August 1st. So then we can hopefully get ahead of your internship decision, and you will have all of the pieces to make that decision. Otherwise, if you don't get everything in by July 15th, you can apply in round 1. That deadline will be October 15th, and then you would be notified before Thanksgiving. And so the timing with that, it would allow you to discuss the decision with your family over the holidays and get that decision back to us in December. After October 15th, it's going to be rolling kind of round 2 from October 15th through April or May. It's going to be rolling as seats are available. I can't anticipate or see into the future how many seats we will have available for round 2. So I would strongly advise you do not wait until then. Apply by October 15th or by July 15th if possible.
Thank you, Katie. So we
we have one second. We have a question about future timelines. Yes. So this timeline is for people who are graduating either in December or May. So if you are a freshman, sophomore, junior, if you are graduating after May 2025, you will be applying the summer before you graduate. So that will be your timeline.
People who are graduating August 2024 too, correct?
Yes,
Sweetie?
yes,
Okay,
correct,
great.
correct. Yes, and do with that, now everybody will still start in July of 2025. If you're a December grad, do with that 6 months what you will. Yes.
Connect with your career center, see if you can get some spring internship or co-op work.
Yes.
In the mix. Katie, this question came across. I think you answered it, but let's be really clear about it. The question is this program open to incoming sophomores as well?
It's open to everybody. You will not apply though until the summer before you graduate. So that's where it's slightly different. If you have friends that are applying to the MS Finance program or something like that, there are certain programs where you have to apply in your sophomore year. We are not opening the application to sophomores. So definitely connect with us, attend the webinars, start talking to us, but you will not submit your application and get a decision until the summer before you graduate.
And I want you guys to be very aware too. Katie said connect with us. Think about what it looks like to network for a job, or if you're not familiar with this, one of the things that we want students and potential candidates to be aware of is that knowledge of who you are is going to be incredibly helpful for us in that process. The more we get to know you, the more we have the opportunity to know you and your goals, the better. And so connect with us early and often. So if you're a sophomore right now, that's great. Have a conversation with Katie, have a conversation with Marla, have a conversation with me And then think about questions and maybe come back to us next year again and ask some more questions after you've continued to learn. So just because it's not open right now, we want you to continue to engage with us so that we have that personal brand recognition of you as well. The other question is, and some of these were sent direct to me, Katie, so I'm just asking them as I see them. Are there sample degree plans? Actually, I'll switch this one over to Marla. Marla, can you talk about the degree plan and what the process looks like once they're a student?
And when you say degree plan, you mean like the curriculum?
I'm assuming so.
Okay, and if not, please correct us, whoever asked the question. Yeah. So the curriculum for the program is 45 credit hours, and that is at an accelerated rate. So from a timeline perspective, I'll start there. We typically start a week or 2 weeks before and go a week or 2 weeks later than the typical university guidelines. This curriculum is the same exact curriculum that our full-time MBA students are getting. So it is the same exact degree. That is one thing we want to make sure you all know. This is not a different degree from the full-time MBA. It is the same exact degree, which is amazing opportunity for you all. It is just a cohort of only engineering MBA students. So you are here with all of your peers in class that have been through the same rigorous degree and a rigorous college that we know that Zachary is, and it's amazing and gives you all such a great education. So we want to make sure y'all have that peer-to-peer connection in those cohorts. A few classes off the top of our head that I'll list off, you've gotten right away. You get accounting, finance, you get a career and professional development course as well. You also get business analytics, you get supply chain and operations thrown in there, some economics, you get marketing and creating a customer base and a customer journey with a marketing course. You've got a few electives thrown in there as well. The coolest class that I'm most excited about is you all have some sort of capstone that you do in some way, shape, or form, whether that's a product creation or a idea formation, whatever that might be, a software. We are hoping to take a directed studies course in the way of you all creating a business plan and a pricing strategy and a customer basis off of this product, which we think will be a really cool opportunity for those that are interested in expanding that capstone project or capstone product that you created in engineering. So hopefully that gives a little behind the curtain to the curriculum, answers the question.
And we have a couple of other questions. I'm going to skip down to one that came across as you were answering. Marla, can you start? I think we've clarified this, but we'll go ahead and ask it again. Are you able to, or can you start some of the classes during your time in undergrad?
Unfortunately, no. So the one thing you can do if you have the opportunity is, I know a lot of engineering students that I've spoken to do a business minor. And that is a way for them to already get their foot over here in Wayner in Mays Business School and kind of get their foot in the door and understand some basic business concepts. It's way different from like an MBA level, right? But you're still gaining that. But from an MBA and engineering MBA course perspective, those are not able to be taken until post-graduation. The reason being so that we want you all to move as a cohort. We work in a lot of team basis in these classes, and a lot of it is team assignment work and project work. So the importance of you all being in classes together at the same time is super valuable and a very top priority for us.
And I will also say the business minor can be helpful in terms of career exploration, seeing if this is something you'd want to do if you enjoy business classes, but it is by no means a requirement or, you know, earning additional points in the admissions process or anything like that. If you have taken 0 business classes, you can still be a competitive candidate. So don't feel like you have to get that, or you know, don't throw your back out trying to cram your already full schedule. If you can, that's great as an exploration tool. But in terms of the admissions process, no, we don't kind of award extra points to people with a business minor or previous business classes. It's okay if you do not have a business background at all.
And then we have another question that says, if I graduated in May, so I'm assuming this past May, a couple months ago, and I am accepted into grad school, can I apply? Can I do it in conjunction with another program? And I did ask the student to share the program so we can, I don't know if
Yes.
that matters or not.
Share your program. You would still be able to do a 12, we could still consider you for a 12-month MBA. You would be what we call a co-op student. So absolutely, what would happen is you would essentially sandwich the 12-month MBA in between your bachelor's degree and your graduate degree. So you would defer your other master's degree for 12 months. You would do the accelerated MBA with our engineering cohort, and then you would go, instead of going out to work like the rest of the cohort, you would matriculate, you would just switch over into the master of engineering or whatever graduate program you've gotten into. Congratulations, by the way, on being accepted.
It's a civil engineering. So I think, yeah, it'd be very
very
similar
cool.
to our BMIN
Yes.
type co-op program.
Yes. We would just need to, we consider that on a case-by-case basis. So yes, if that's the case, just, we would just need something in writing from the civil engineering advisors that they are willing to hold your admission for 12 months. Kind of that they are willing to give you a deferral option.
So if my question with that is, if I am, so I guess this application is for August 25, is that correct, this cycle?
Yes, so the application, if you were to apply right now, you would be applying to do the MBA from July 25 to August of 26.
So like right now, could I start? Would I have to just wait like that amount of time?
It's possible we could, if it depends on the other program. You're talking about maybe sandwiching the MBA in between year 1 and year 2 of the.
My program is only a year and a half.
Oh, so we could sandwich it in the middle.
Yeah.
You would need to return to the other program though.
Okay, so I'd have to talk to them and talk to you.
Yes. Talk to them and talk to us.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Katie, to clarify, if a student is graduating next summer as a 5th year student, should they wait to apply until next summer?
Yes, if you're graduating in August, you will need to wait and apply next summer because we don't currently have a January start date. You would have like an 11-month gap, and then you would start in July of 26. Yes.
Did that answer that question? Student who asked. Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions about, these are all great admissions and other questions. Any questions about the pitch or the video itself that you guys have? Is everybody ready to present a great video pitch? I love it. I am available to have conversations. I'm even available to do a mock pitch if you want to shoot it over, set up some time where we go over it and review, and you kind of give it to me as a mock interview style before you record. We do have new students coming on campus next week, so my time is short, but I do have availability between now and the 15th if you guys are doing that priority application. Just reach out and I will make time, and sometimes that time might be in the evening, but I will definitely make time if so. Anything else that we need to cover, Katie or Marla?
I have one more question come through that I think would be helpful for the whole group to hear. The question, and Katie and Lauren, this might be more y'all's area, is if we get accepted into the program, how long do the students have to accept their offer into the program?
Yes, so that depends on which round you apply. So if we give you your offer on August 1st, if you apply priority, our deadline for decisions and deposits is August 30th. So, but in the meantime, you can use that month to discuss with your employers, meet with Amanda, have those negotiation conversations. If you apply in round 1 and get your decision in mid-November, we will expect a decision and deposit in mid-December. So it's about a month that we give you to decide.
Great, thanks, Katie.
Yep.
Any other final questions, thoughts, curiosities, or concerns?
Yes, I have one. So I've kind of heard just from general advice from other business classes, from like high school and things like that, is that when you're doing a video pitch, you kind of want to focus on things that aren't necessarily on your resume because, they already have your resume, right? Why are you, don't go over the same material? Kind of like, you know, uh, would there be anything specific? What is it? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. But would there be anything you would err on the side of caution to not talk about if it's on your resume, or can you still kind of tread over the same ground if you believe it's extremely relevant?
I'll put something out there and then I'll let Marla and Katie answer the things to avoid maybe. One thing that your resume does is your resume gives a very clear and distinct message of what you did, and not always a clear how you did that, right? And so those are some things that aren't necessarily always on your resume that would be really impactful that you can share, right? Say you fundraised $5,000 for your club or organization, but the way you did that, it doesn't fit on the 2 lines of your bullets, but the way you did that was you went out and you had over 100 conversations with people and really connected and built strong relationships, right? Some of that stuff that you don't get to put on your resume, we definitely want to hear that. We want to hear some of those things. Maybe you had perfect attendance in high school. You're clearly not going to put that on your resume, but if showing up on time and showing out every single time you show up is part of who you are, we want to hear that.
I agree. I mean, you got some good advice there. I would say definitely don't just read. You don't want to just read your resume for us because we will already have that. But going beyond what's on the resume, or definitely mention things that are on the resume. Hey, I'm currently on this internship and I'm doing X, Y, and Z, which is building these skills, or it has sparked in me this passion for this particular career field. So you can use the resume as a jumping off point to go deeper and to make connections between what you're doing now and your career goals, or what you're doing now and a skill that you're building, or a personal quality that you are growing and strengthening. But yeah, don't just read verbatim from the resume. That's boring.
The other
Thank
thing
you
too
so
is don't
much.
forget to introduce yourself,
Yes.
right? It's going to say, when we get the video, it's going to say, Nathan Armoire video, however it's titled for us. We still would like to hear you introduce yourself, right? And who you are, right? So I'm Amanda. I am the Senior Associate Director for Career Management. I'm applying, and then answer those questions. What else?
I did get one more question come through. Sorry, Nicholas. You can go ahead.
This is niche and kind of more towards A&M. I understand that, at A&M it's pretty acceptable to use howdy, right? But then in most other scenarios, it's, howdy's very informal. It's not a thing. Do y'all have any preference on that? Does that matter?
Howdy is always okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
The other question that we received is, what is the deposit amount? And we are currently at 2,000 for the deposit amount, and that is when you accept the admission, paying that deposit. Currently, we are hoping to get that a little bit lower for this group of students, but that is all dependent on the back end of our computer system, to be very transparent with you all. So if we get it lower, we will let you all know, but right now we're going to set it at 2,000.
And that is applied directly towards your first semester's tuition bill. So that it doesn't just go into the ether. That money does come back to you on your tuition bill.
Since this is all going to be in 1 year, are we looking at like 18 credit hour semesters back to back, and then probably classes in the summer too?
Great question, Luke. I'm going to pull up real quick the exact numbers to share with y'all what each semester is. So to give some kind of back behind the curtain or back end information, is we do what we call part of terms, or mini-mesters is another term you may be hear. So we do a certain amount of courses and hours from August to end of September, beginning of October. And then we shift to a different set of classes from October to December. And then there's a few classes in the spring that are also split like that. and then you might have electives that go across the entire semester. So that's how we fit in all the credit hours. To be transparent, you're never in 18 credit hours all at once. So in the fall semester, you will complete 17 credit hours in the fall, but you're in 3, 6, 9, 10 to 11 at one point, if that's helpful, and then less in the second half of the semester. And then in the spring semester, it's 20 credit hours. Again, some of those are split, and then some of those are across the whole semester because they are electives and they follow the typical university schedule, not the MBA schedule, as we call it. And then currently the summer semester would be looking at 8 credit hours. And a lot of those, what's nice about those summer classes, 2 of them are the directed study class I spoke about earlier, the capstone flesh out class, and then our individual leadership development course. The great thing about those is we build that in throughout the entire curriculum. So you're not doing all of that just in one summer. There are deliverables that are spread out across the whole curriculum to make that summer a little bit simpler. And then you also have the ability to focus with CMC on finalizing job search, etc., while you're balancing those summer courses.
What else? All right, Katie, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us. We're going to be getting the slides and the recording to you all this afternoon. But of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. The best email to use is mbaprograms@mays.tamu.edu. And that's an email that multiple of us check several times a day. So feel free to email us there at any time with any questions that you have. We're also happy to set up one-on-one Zooms. I'm happy to review resumes. If anybody would like me to look at your resume before you submit that priority application. So thank you all, and we hope to see you around Wayner soon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.